on Haven, but what can they do this time around? Viper's wall going up, not nearly as aggressively, just kind of blocking entry into both A and B. We're starting to see some of that peak early on. Penny already swinging his way around. Zelsis looking to apply pressure across the middle of the map as well. He gets cleaned up. First couple of kills going in favor of Sentinels.
Yeah, it's looking great for them. They've got that C-side control coming through. Vanity's going to get pinched from both sides. Not too much that he can do about that one. And it's going to leave Penny and Whippy in a situation where there's nothing less to do than just hit some really insane shots. And they're going to be up against some entrenched positions. I love the focus around Garage here. You're kind of coming off the site for the most part, and just holding that Garage control allows a lot of options defensively for Sentinels. And here comes the dive in. The Zombs will try to defend. Where's the trade at? The Cloudburst will deny the trade initially, but it seems inevitable. Sentinels will have too many bodies on the site for Version 1 to contest. And Sentinels, once again, is starting things off with that pistol victory.
You even saw V1 there, like understanding, all right, we're severely outnumbered. We're pretty heavily outgunned. We don't have any control of the site. So what do? We just freaking run, blitz into the site, see what we can make happen. And there were moments, right, where teams play around the chaos had an opportunity for it, but it didn't pay off. And Dan, look at the positioning from V1 around A again.
It's going to be an interesting fight here. Oh, we do get the gravity well there in anticipation. The Viper will protect them. Dapper's able to deal with Zelsis, but the orb is claimed by Version 1. Dapper's in that forward corner, looking to find a spot, and he's got the timing. Gotta be careful, though. However, he does have support, so it's looking pretty good here. Sentinels running off the back of these frags. In fact, actually, it would appear the ultimate did not go to Version 1, so that's a nice win for Sentinels as well.
On top of everything else that has already gone so right for them. My gosh, sick. It's just so gross. Zoms cleans it up as well. Sentinels jump out to an early 2-0 lead, and you know, we saw V1 looking to dial up something aggressive on A. They had heavy pressure that way, full sending through that utility, and it didn't pan out.
Yeah, and the focus here is to look and see, okay, what does Sentinels want to do in this situation where, again, you know, it's the bonus round, right? They've got these Spectres. We talked about it previously. You want to put those Spectres in a position where they're the strongest, and you have more room to do that on the attack because you can decide where you go. So you can use the architecture and tactics to, really make sure these Spectres are going to be harmonious. And they're looking to go for perhaps a straight contact C. And walking up there, they'll have Shazam able to get the recons in place to get all of the info on the site. And well, there it is. Version 1, they decided to go for more of a stack towards the A side of the map, and that just happens. That just happens sometimes where you have to take a gamble at the start of the round. It's not going to work out. But, the retake is where it's at now.
Shazam on the entry there got one step closer to getting his Hunter's Fury online, and you see how Sentinels, they aren't just anchoring down on the site, right? These are excellent post-plant positions they've taken well. Of course, as I say that, Penny happens. He's good for 2 with the Vandal as they continue to push their way forward. Whippy wise to the lurk around Dapper as he gets cleaned up as well. Shazam and Tens left alone. They've got a Marshal. And well, it's a Marshal and it's Tens. So you don't count it out. Oh my gosh, you don't count it out! He's looking for more. He gets the other one as well. Is he going to have enough time? Did he just rob the round? No, the defuse come through. 0.46 seconds. My gosh, Dan.
Oh, so fast from Tens. That's unbelievable. Oh my god, the Marshal. Dude, I feel like we need to see more Marshal buys, man. This is why the no-scope is nuts on this thing. Oh, you just need to see him win that round. He deserved it. But anyway, Version 1's going to pick it up regardless, and it's going to be interesting to see if they go with this heavy commit towards a lobby once again. They did that in the previous round. Of course, Sentinels contacted into C, but we're going to see a more standard approach here from Sentinels. They got the drone going through straight away, the cage across as well. Penny is ready to fight from short. And Dapper, he's crept out once again. This is one of the, ways you want to try to play against this forward toxic screen. But he did take down Zelsis, not ready for the water drop, it would seem. And at the same time, Tens was trying to creep into B. They've actually tried to out-game V1 with the rotation, but Version 1 know what's up, and it's up to Zoms and Dapper now in the 2v3 to try to recover this one.
I mean, Dan, Dapper's down to 1 health. Well, of course, he just gets a little bit there, up to 20 now, but not in a great spot. They also don't in a 2v3, right? Like, I think the one thing you have going for you if you're Sentinels is you have plenty of time, right? And you have the element of surprise. You cut noise, make them guess about where they're going to go, and you see the impact that Haven being a 3-site map has. You have to spread yourself even more thin than you normally would, and that's going to allow Sentinels to get onto C. Zom's not getting the spike down yet. Here he goes. And V1 are, I mean, they're coming from all the way downtown to try to get to this retake.
Some time will be killed in just sort of making their way over. And again, we mentioned before, you know, Dapper's great at killing time. Zom's able to get the Cosmic Divide there. That's going to cause some problems. So sure, you get a lot of space here, but this is to try to create some gambly situations right now, because you got to try to get lucky, and Dapper will not get lucky in this instance. Zom's now against 3 players, gets the first one with the headshot. Another 1v1 for him, but it looks like it's going to come through here in time for Version 1 as they take him down. And it's another close defuse, but a defuse nonetheless for Version 1 to clinch it, equalizing 2 apiece.
I like the Cosmic Divide there, right? Like, not having the numbers advantage, try to put yourself in a spot where you can, again, deny information. I know I touch on that a lot, but it really is such an such an important part of the game, right? And how rounds play out. So they put up that Cosmic Divide, but it was actually the gun barrel that deceived him as he pushed his way through. They were able to clean that up, and as you said, it was close down to the wire, but that's all it was. V1 tied up 2 apiece. And we're going to see some of this same like fight for A lobby control. They're going to continue to invest utility there. The one difference is that we have not seen V1 take it early on and then establish that utility control like we've seen in the past.
Yeah, and this is the punish that we're seeing again. And we saw Cloud9 trying to do this a lot as well against Version 1. You just try to play into Garage, you try to play into the C site. Version 1, again, having to play the full retake. However, they do have the ults to try to do it. Sick. Oh, he's unable to get that. Has to get out of there. And in comes the Hunter's Fury. Oh, that's doing a lot of damage.
Oh, it is. Vanity's going to get cleaned up. You saw the help show up just in the nick of time. Ten's going to use that Blade Storm. Had a good idea of where one member was, but he's going to get away scot-free. The only ultimate that Sentinels has going for them right now is the Blade Storm in the hands of Tens. Giga Little Cloudburst to deny any information gathered from Effie's as they start to dash their way through. Cloudburst not going to connect onto anything quite yet, just down to a couple of blades. Doesn't connect. Effie's cleans it up. Zom, Zik, and Shazam trying to fight this thing back. The Viper's Pit's going to come out, and that might be exactly what they need to kind of keep them back. Sentinels, oh no, the shock dart from Shazam, looking for a second one as well. Sick sweeps his way out. Sick, good for 3. Sentinels take the round, but they're not going to have time to defuse it. They got the kills, but they don't get it.
Well, it's a good thing they're on the attack. It's all going to be great. It's going to be really difficult to get that defuse, especially on that plant. It's such a money plant, because if a player's trying to even, like, if you're in a 1v1, almost any situation, obviously, the vision is denied. It's so easy, as you can see, for this, like, full send a shock dart there. No lineup is required if the vision's cut off. It's just such a great post plant. It's really the most effective one when you're playing long. But in a Version 1, you know, we've seen some scrappy rounds here. You know, lots of players dying, their money is ruined. Not actually opting for that initial Viper toxic screen to kind of diagonally go across a lobby, as we've seen in most of these situations. We can see instead that we've got a different placement, cutting through a long, short A, as well as B. And Sick, you know, he's the duelist. He's trying to take some forward control, creating some space towards A short, clearing these positions, and depending on what happens here, in fact, it looks like they're just going to go for the full send. They've moved up pretty close, all 5 players, so they might as well just try to contact onto the site now. And there's only Penny there to try to stop this with a frenzy.
Oh man, if he got spotted, instantly dashed away and got followed right up as Tens was hunting for him. It's actually Sick who cleans him up. As they've gotten control of the site, Sick 1 point away from having to run it back online. And as you mentioned, V1 don't have ideal weaponry now. Vanity does have the Marshall, and we saw just a couple of rounds ago how devastating that weapon can be. But can Vanity replicate what Tens was able to do? Does have the Cosmic Divide. Effie's has his ultimate as well. So there's certainly a world in which they pull this thing off. But man, it's gonna be hard, right? Vanity, good for one, not able to land the second one. He's gonna get tagged up. Effie's cleans out. And there's just not enough time to...
One enemy remaining.
Yeah, it's in a round like this, you would really need a couple of kills to come from that Marshall to start to convince you to think that maybe it's worth burning some of those ults to try to win the round. But one thing that's interesting too is that, you know, you always have to look at the strategy on the anti-eco. Sentinels just contacted towards C last time, and version 1, you know, they had more of an A stack. So this time Sentinels just contacted towards A. So, you know, just a 50-50, but it's hard to know what to do when you're in the defender's side and you have that eco. You have to take a gamble, and sometimes you're going to get it right, sometimes you're going to get it wrong. But you're going to act from past information, which is why Sentinels kind of flipped the site that they went for, so that they're not being too predictable. And the toxic screen is a tell as well, because that was the change. We'll see it again here. Normally, if you put a screen like that, Sentinels might think, well, if they're putting a screen there, they're trying to disincentivize us to go into some of these positions, so maybe they're actually making plays on the other side of the map, and there's more bodies around there. So, you know, that's another part of the mind games with the toxic screen in a setup like this. And it's also a toxic screen that's very good for playing retake, because you cut off short and you cut off long. So it's another reason why it suggests that there's not many players towards A, because you're going to assume, if you see that toxic screen as Sentinels, that version 1 are playing retake A with their defensive setup. So you're going to expect more players towards C and B if you're Sentinels and reading this correctly.
Early push. You see Zelsis creeps his way forward. Here's a little bit of that space denial, but like as you mentioned, like Cloud9 tried doing and how Sentinels has done a couple of times successfully in this map, they're just going to push away from that, right? Like if they understand that they can make their way into garage, if they can make their way into C, there's just so much room to work with there, so much more room to breathe.
Yeah, and the toxic screen goes up to try to buy some time for the rotation here. You can see that right now, version 1 don't know what's going on. They're not really sure, and they're quite passive in their positions. They have no forward info, so they just have to sit on these spots that they have right now. And you can see they're holding fairly evenly across the map. So this just comes down to how well Sentinels will execute off of their positioning. They need garage control still if they're going to really try to finish this with a C split, which it looks like will be the case. Now, that recon might actually convince version 1 to burn some utility early on. And it looks like that's going to be the case, because there goes the Hunter's Fury from Effie's.
Penny getting one with the operator as well. You saw the run it back was used. Vanity playing around logs. Clean shot onto Tense to clean him up. Penny gets in on it as well with the operator, looking to make it sing some more. 2 members remain on the side of Sentinels. Make that one as Penny gets 3. The 4th gets cleaned up from Effie's as V1 take that round away.
Yeah, great round from version 1 for sure. They were in such a good position. You know, we talked about the fact that they didn't have much info, but at the same time, Sentinels hadn't really had much pressure across the map, so there was still lots of utility left to play a late round defense for version 1. And they had the Hunter's Fury as well to play spoiler around the garage position, which was a really big deal. That really stopped Sentinels from coordinating in. And now, you know, we're in this spot where version 1 could take over this half. We've got Penny on the operator. They're going to be playing for a lobby. Again, 3 players there. They're not using that same diagonal A lobby Viper wall. It's still the same one we had previously. And Sentinels, they're trying to capitalize on the early timings. They're going to walk straight into B.
And it's going to be undetected. I mean, the only one who's kind of close here is Effie's, who's may get some info. The wall still hasn't gone up, but at this point, they know exactly where the play is coming from. You don't see anything aggressively going on a flank through garage or anything like that. They're just going to try to work their way in through the cuts. And you see Sentinels, their post plants are off the site, right? Like, they don't want to get caught in the chaos of what happens on B proper. They can just take good positioning and fight from behind that. Also, Dapper on a flank, looking to get behind them, but is there going to be enough time? Cosmic Divide coming out. Sick looking to work his way through the gravity well into the hot hands. The dart is there as well to try to give that info away. There's Dapper on the flank, just such a nuisance. He cleans up Zelsis as well with 10 health left. D1 have to work their way through this, and Sentinel's actually going aggressively. They stop the defuse. Penny's left alone. A flawless round. What a round by Sentinels.
Oh, that's such an awesome round. There's so many little details there that are really key. Normally when you play that B plant, what happens often is that you you get into a position where the opponents will be flanking you from various spots and you have to defend from like 3 different angles. You can't really establish in mid. Not only did Dapper always have control of A lobby because he had a cam there, we also saw that they had enough info for him to know that he could actually push. And he made a really good timing around that A flank. That was key. And because there was nothing coming from Garage, Sentinels didn't have to worry about anything. In fact, it was version 1 that were getting split up. So just a really strong look on that B round that a lot of teams don't tend to have that much control. So it's very cool to see that from Sentinels. And once again, playing the eco. And what did we see last time? You know, they just contacted into the A site. And looks like that might happen again here, it seems, because they get the opening pick there. The info from the neural theft will reveal Penny's position. They know he has got the knives out as well. Oh!
No way. No way. Flashed as he looks for more. No, he's going to get cleaned up from 10s. But you're right, Dan. If you can, in a situation like this, if it worked before, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. They do play contact onto the site. They get the spike down as well. There's some decent weaponry, I guess, right? Like, we've seen Vanity. That's how devastating he can be with that weapon. But, well, we're not going to get a chance to see any of that this time around. Sentinels jump out to a 3-round lead. Financially, they should be in good shape. They carry 4 weapons into the next round, and they're looking good.
Yeah, it's a great help from them so far. I'm really enjoying seeing how Sentinels are kind of putting this together. And also, you know, again, as I mentioned before, it's also fun to see the adaptations from version 1, and they've not been able to make this defensive side look quite as good as they did yesterday. Sentinels are getting a lot more value than Cloud9 were able to do. And this is a pretty heavy commit towards the A side of the map. Once again, Penny's going to be peeking that short A position, where Dapper's typically been running default. And once again, I love this from Sentinels. They're abusing the fact that version 1 have these mid openings at the early timing of the round. And they're going to walk straight in with the running back from Sick. He's going to look for those C players, and he might just find them.
Oh, he's got Vanity. Yep, he's able to clean him up. There was another one there, but the ult got taken offline. The damage was still done as the spike goes down on B. Now, a slightly different flavor from what we saw last time, right? Keep an eye on 10s. He's back in Gong. He's by himself now. He's been given away. The Cloudburst not able to keep him alive as Celsius cleans him up. This is already a very different look. Once again, Dapper's going to be on the flank trying to work his way around. Penny cleans up Shazam as they have to fight through some of that utility, but the flank actually comes out from Whippy to give them a bit more room to breathe. And as things continue to tick away, Dapper's going to be a problem again. Sick gets onto 3, Zelsis alone. Zelsis gets cleaned up. Sentinels get to 7.
They tried so hard, did version 1, to get the hot hands out of Sick, and he just did not do it until it was absolutely necessary. The perfect timing, and especially given the Garage pressure that came through, he had to come off of the angle to try to deal the Garage player, and still just landed it at the perfect timing. Such phenomenal work from Sick and Dapper in that round. And right now they are sort of outclassing version 1 on some of these plays, and this is another look we didn't see from Cloud9, just abusing the fact that version 1 are committing early timings away, or their players away from the middle of the map. And it's not just that Sentinels are abusing that, they know how to play it. They know how to play that B side, it's clear.
This time leaning into a bit of the aggression that version 1 liked to show into A as there's heavy presence. Penny's going to have to dash away. Doesn't get tagged up. Version 1 here on this lighter buy. Looking to see if they can turn the tides here a bit. And Dan, I think you make a really good point. We saw Cloud9 try to do this yesterday, right? They tried to exploit the middle of the map. They tried to push away from the pressure from V1, but they did not have the same success. And I think it comes down to their execution at the end of the day. They do know how to play around these sites, and they're making things work that Cloud9 were not able to.
Yeah, I mean, in this round 2, Sentinels slowed down massively because they thought version 1 would try to flank them, but version 1 had a better sense than that. Zelsis able to dismiss back and away as Sentinels start to charge through to C. Beautiful stuff from him, able to equalize to a 4v4, but still, they're going to have to retake onto the C site, and in terms of the ult economy, it's not looking great here for version 1, and it's looking even worse in terms of weaponry. Only 3 Spectres and a Frenzy to try to get the retake working, and it's going to be a long setup again. So this is going to be very hard for version 1.
And this kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, Dan. Leaning towards your gun advantage. If they take away, if they try to play around long, they're going to have the advantage in that situation over Spectres, over Frenzies. Of course, as I say that, Penny cleans one up, cleans a second one up as well. Any 1v2, he has to push into that. Yeah, you felt the difference, right? Like, Sentinels played around that gun advantage that they had, and they played to perfection.
Yeah, and it's just such a perfect moment for Sentinels to just stop the pace, because they'd abuse that mid for like 2 or 3 rounds in a row, and then they just like hold, because in situations like that, if you're version 1, you want to get really aggressive on one of the flanks, and Sentinels were holding both flanks, and version 1 seemed to have the sense that this was probably what was happening, so they couldn't really do anything. It didn't really feel like there's a good response there. So great finish to the round from Sentinels, and going into this buy against buy, the question is, do they want to abuse mid again? It looks like that might be the case, because we've got Sick once again walking up mid into that B site, looking for that run it back opening.
Now, Vanity has pushed his way early into Garage. There's that run it back that you mentioned, Vanity making his way around. He's in a great spot for the flank, but no, his position's been given away. Dealt a bit of damage, but he got cleaned up at the hands of Tens. Sick looking to continue to push his way forward. Zelsis on the back of the site. And this is the first time we've seen this, right, Dan, where they try to have that exact same hit, test the waters, it doesn't pan out, and they try to flip the map, and Dapper's made his way onto C. He's going to get cleaned up, but they've still gotten onto the site.
There goes Penny running around Logs. He's going to get 2. And with that, it's down to Shazam. 10 health left. It's not going to be a good look for him. The double swing comes through, and it will be successful for 4th round. It's not a lot, but it is enough to work from for version 1 as they switch into the second half. They're going to be on the attack instead, which might feel a little bit more comfortable. Sentinels, brilliant half from them. I have to say, you know, they had such great adaptations. This was, Tens deserve that round. but he won't get it. But yeah, love the mid abuse coming in from Sentinels. Just that last round we saw was the first round where version 1 were able to kind of stop them and then force them to have to reroute that push. And all right, let's see if version 1 can get something going here. Penny's off to a pretty good start in terms of the fragging, and definitely an important play. It would be great to see Penny come up huge in this pistol with that Ghost.
Even one on attack, they fight for a lobby control through utility, and it's just enough to make them think twice about it. As you see V1, they got the Viper's wall up, but they're moseying their way towards B as well as they can. Penny, as you mentioned, needing to come online for V1 here. Good for the first kill of the round. They're going to work their way into Garage towards C. And Sentinels are going to show up a bit late. But can they take the site back? Whippy looking to get the spike down. Does just that.
Garage controls a good start for Sentinels on the retake effort. The star's getting put down as well by some of the gravity well as they start to make their way through. Vanity gets great damage finisher from Penny as Zelsis from the back site. It's also holding back sight, and there goes the dash. That's Tens forced out of the site. And as another choke point, he now has to move through. Dash in the tank unless he gets another frag out of this. Time is against him. He's going to have to keep pushing. He's got no other choice. And his opponents, they know it. And at this point, there goes the poison orb. And I mean, of course, Tens will get the kill, but it will be in vain ultimately as we get taken down. But one thing that's critical... Oh, oops. One play that's critical for a player like Tens is picking up the ult charge. Getting the knives out as soon as possible is like such an economic... such a big economic deal in the sense that he's able to kind of save on the gun round with the ult and then get the operator out if he's able to get, you know, an orb, maybe a kill in a round here.
Few players as electrifying as Tens can be. It seems like, you know, kind of regardless of the situation, you got to give it a sliver of a chance. But V1, again, he managed to delay just long enough to get the round. Now they've got a couple of weapons going into this thing, and Sentinel's certainly not coming from a same position. And much like we've spoken in the past, you're going to try to get that ult orb into the hands of V1. Control around that. Think about playing for the longevity of the half.
He does not like what he sees. But a freebie site for Vanity and Zelsis. They're definitely going to be liking that. But the B side, it is hard to hold, and Dapper's going to pick up a frag hit, starting to look a little bit sketchy for version 1. Vanity down to 7 HP, 6 wrapping, and will get dealt with. That's an important one. I
There's
really
the
felt
Bulldog coming through.
dangerous, man.
It did. And, you know, it's funny. You seldom see teams with a gun advantage intentionally playing into B, but that seems like what V1 wants to do here. They do manage to get the spike down, but they're far from out of the woodworks. There's a shorty. Couple of members of Sentinel as well. Okay, that certainly helps things. And if it's not the shock dart, it's the Bulldog. Effys gets 4. Whippy cleans up the last. V1, excuse me, bridge the gap down to 2 rounds. Now Sentinels are going to be able to approach this round with rifles. They've got a little bit more behind them. We'll see what they can do to keep V1 back.
Oh my god. For Effys, and I think it was Zelsis in the site, that seems so insanely uncomfortable. Those positions were not good. So that shock dart was one of the only ways that Effys was going to not die there. So really important, and made it look ultimately pretty clean. And going into this round, it looks like they want to just go for a send it on C. And it's fairly telegraphed here. The drone's going to come through. Now, the question is how much they commit to this. Of course, we've got the lurk coming through into Garage from Zelsis. And the question is, you know, with that toxic screen, the drone coming through, they didn't get rid of the cam, though. That cam basically tells Sentinels that it's all a lie.
Yeah. At least for the time being. There's still presence, right? The ult orb is still up, too, so you just imagine V1's going to try to get that, clean that up and go on about their merry way.
There's a trip in Garage as well. And so Dapper, with the cam and that trip, he's able to kind of trade that utility really effectively, because there was a lot burned by V1 to try to suggest they were doing something towards C. And now they're having to rotate towards A. And you've got this spot coming through as well from Sick, who's playing A long at the moment. So there's going to be possibly a low amount of time here for Version 1 if they're not careful to complete this round. But the Hunter's Fury could make the difference. Or rather, it was, 30 seconds to get the spike down. It's starting to get a little bit sketchy in terms of timings.
And you see V1, like they've invested 2 players still off site. Both Vanity and Zelsis are playing off, and with 30 seconds left, you mentioned you start to feel some of that pressure of it being time to go. They flip the map again. And at this point, there's no question about it. They have to go towards C. Effys using the Hunter's Fury. The Gravity Well was used as well. Dapper good for 1, though. It's just good. It's going to be enough time. It might be enough to buy just enough to get them. They can't get onto the site. I don't think they're going to be able to get the plant down. Vanity trying to get it. The delay was beautiful, Dan.
Oh, it's so close. And Dapper as well. I don't know how he managed to get a frag out of that. That was pretty insane. He knew that he had to run forward and take... Because he knows that when that fight's coming, he saw exactly what was happening. He was able to just escape the gravity well. He knew at that point he was going to get ulted. He's able to just squeak past the Log's position into that forward spot to just eke out a kill, and slowing them down enough with his teammates' utilities. Just so close. And Version 1, though, you know, it was such a late call. They didn't exactly know what the best answer was. Ooh, that's Version 1 moving towards A long. That's a lot of presence felt by Sentinels, and they might try to play retake here. They are kind of ambling out of the site right now. But given what Version 1 just did, Sentinels might be unsure if this is a commitment or not. But we can see that it most certainly is. The spike is still actually a little bit far away. It's in short still. Oh, Zombs picks up 1. And now Shazam's asking questions too.
V1 not just happy with taking control of the site. They wanted to push their way forward, push the defending lines back even more. While the kills were traded, they still managed to get onto the site. They managed to get the spike down at the hands of Effys. And they're playing back a good bit, right? Like you see both Whippy and Vanity playing pretty far off the site. Effys is doing it as well. They're just leaving Penny on the site to play hero. He's got a Blade Storm. He's got a chance at something. Swings out. No, he gets popped right in the mouth. Yeah, it's the lineups. That's what it was out of Whippy. Ult Orb comes out. Props as well and just continues to delay, continues to buy time. Sick using the curveballs to perfection to try to get onto Whippy. And no, Whippy cleans him up, wins that fight. They're on the tap. You're going to have to go. You see the shock darts coming out as well. Tens isn't going to have enough time. He had to pull off. He had to pull off. The delay again out of V1. Previously, it was from Sentinels that was just so pretty. But this time it was from V1 using the delay from both Viper and from Effys on the Sova to just delay, to buy time, to force them off of it. that won them the round.
Yeah, this is great for sure from version 1. They're creating this kind of style that's really annoying to play against, because we saw it in the round just before that one as well, where they wanted to try to just walk together onto a site. And they're not playing the map control game, the heavy default game as much. They're just trying to get all the bodies onto a site effectively. And, you know, I'm just pausing here because I'm like, do I have time to actually make this point? It looks like we might have some action coming through from both version 1, with Penny trying to get a look into Garage, but Sick is pretty close by as well. And they have a Sheriff on him. Tens with the knives. He's going to find both frags. And okay, that's a problem, because the Thrifty's feeling pretty close right now because of this. And Sick's out there too. He's got that Sheriff in hand. He's tagged up Effies, and Tens is going to finish it off. It was the layup, the setup from Sick, the dunk from Tens, and now it's a 4 versus 2, and they're spreading the wealth. The guns are getting distributed, and now they might just walk into Zoms.
This round has gone absolutely sideways, and it was really all off the backs of Tens and his Blade Storm. And the one silver lining, if you will, for V1 is that they do still have control of the spike. And they have 40 seconds. They have some time. They've shown propensity to play down to the very last second of the round when it comes to where they want to go. But the thing is, Dan, they don't have a ton of information, right? Like they're really guessing, and even with, regardless of what the guess is, you have to understand there's a chance you're going to walk into someone when you're at this heavy at a numbers disadvantage, and it may, who else but Tens with 4. Shazam cleans it up. You called it. It was a Thrifty. It was off the back of Tens with the Blade Storm. That's a big round for Sentinels.
Oh, man. You know, the thing is, you know, the drone goes through and you feel a sense of safety if you're version 1. You can't really fault them for peeking that, because the drone doesn't see anything in Garage. Tens kind of peeks as a drone at the perfect timing, really. And the drone's not going to do anything to Tens. He's still going to be able to get that fast move, and he's still going to get a chance to get a surprising fight. Just a brilliant way to open up the round. And now he's on the operator. Now the economy is looking much better for Sentinels. And version 1, they have very little in the tank here. It's Penny with that Vandal, and they're going hard towards this A site right now. They might just want to full commit here.
Yeah. Oh, and they're going to commit right into an operator from Tens. Goes there, gives some spot away. He lands a shot onto Penny, the only rifle in the round for V1 offline here as he's looking for more. Trying to make some more magic happen with the op. See Sick, using the run it back as well, and just pushing so many members back, right? Like, he clears out so much space.
And it's so difficult here as well, because with having a frag up and the damage done for Sentinels, they don't even have to play hard stop if they don't want to. They can try to play more of a retake game where they allow these players of version 1 who have to get the spike down. They allow them to try to come through some of these choke points, but they have to go against Tens. If Tens picks off 1, Tens could decide to just get out the site and then play the retake game. Like right now, the timing's not perfect for Zombs, but it doesn't really matter because Tens is gonna drop everybody with his help, and it's a flawless victory for Sentinels. Version 1 not looking like they have options in some of these rounds. And it feels like off the back of this bye, this has to do it all. Version 1 have to find success, and and again, I'm not sure what they're going to go for here, because again, we've seen that they just like to try to group up, and Sentinels don't seem too fazed by this.
No, they don't. I think for V1, you've got 3, I mean, pretty notable ultimates, right? Mainly looking at the Hunter's Fury and the Viper's Pit, and obviously the Empress can be problematic as well. So they've got some of that in their pocket, but like you said, Dan, this is really do or die for version 1 on this map. You start to run out of windows. You start to run out of opportunities to make something happen. They've taken the middle of the map. Looks like they're going to try to play into B again. Penny's going to dash his way forward, stick with the curveball and the hot hands to delay, to buy time. As the Viper's Pit goes down. Hunter's Fury coming out from Shazam. Tagged up Vanity, certainly, or excuse me, I believe that was Penny. Yeah, he got messed up a bit there, but it wasn't enough for the kill, but Zombs was. The spike does go down. What can they do? Sick playing around through. His health starts to dwindle down, but he manages to land the shots to get the kill anyway. Clip wrench dry, but information gathered. Dapper good for 1 as well. V1 just down to 2 members left. And they're both playing off site. You imagine Dapper here, if he could just be enough of a nuisance, gonna buy him some time, but no, Zelsis and Vanity get cleaned up. Or they clean up. Celsius has to go. He's gonna drop the Lear. The gravity well was there, but Vanity goes absolutely huge for V1. A 3K on the round to win it for him, and they're gonna live to fight another day.
Awesome stuff with the Cosmic Divide there from Vanity. It almost looks counterintuitive to drop the Cosmic Divide in this situation because it's, it's like, but then you can't see the spike, but it's like it allows them to close the distance together. And in that kind of a spot, you throw the dismiss out, the Lear out, you just have to get a little bit fortunate as you charge through there. And Vanity hits some fantastic shots, and that's going to be Version1 staying in the game. Not just staying in the game, they have a real chance to reset things here if they're able to wipe out this Bias Sentinels, but this has to be a clean round. And again, Tens on that operator. He's peeking short A. Control for Sentinels quickly towards that A lobby position. They're going to rotate off A, reinforce B. Better timing here now from Sentinels on this defense. They're all grouped up and ready on that B side already. Now, that would not be a great opportunity for Version1. They're going to have to instead try to work something else. But we talked about this. They like to group up. They're all towards Garage right now. And Sentinels have players in position for this.
Oh, man, and again, the gravity well just delays, right? Just buys enough time for Sentinels to be able to rotate to get onto the site, and V1 kind of understanding that, a little touch and go. They're going to pull off. Celsius is left up aggressively. Curveball. Celsius in the fight against Sick. Some damage dealt, but V1 decide to double down and stick onto the site. Dapper wisely just lets Penny go by and cleans up. One of the members of V1, Sick, shows up just in the nick of time. He's got the classic, looking for more. V1 at a numbers disadvantage. It ties up to 3 apiece. Again, looking for magic with the classic, Whippy and Penny. It's just Tens alone. Tens with the operator, no Blade Storm in tow. But as we've said, you never count him out, but Whippy just absolutely nullifies that at just the right time. You mentioned that this was an opportunity for V1 to really kind of set things sideways, to reset, really have a good chance to get back in this thing. Dan, they've done it.
Yeah, and you can see the way the Sentinels react with their rotation too, is that they're just all running around, like they're just following V1 around. And it's because, when Version1 have been attacking sites, they are pretty much just grouping up and they don't really leave players on the other side of the map. So there's not as much of a punish if you're doing what Sentinels does in their rotations there. But in that instance, V1 did kind of fake them out a little bit to get, a fight on the C site where it's only Dapper to worry about, which they trade out effectively. So now, moving forward, it looks like there is still just enough money in the tank here for another buy from Sentinels, but they don't have the operator on Tens. Oh, Zels is going for a timing in this B side. There goes the Lear. Nothing in response, no utility used. A side is given because Tens is so far forward. This is scary stuff. The tension's palpable here because if Tens pushes and runs into Whippy, that's a problem. They're going to go for Garage Control. How much can Sick get out of the Judge?
The Judge, good for one. The Cosmic Divide comes out. Whippy waiting for Tens, who was on the slow burn the entire time, wins that duel. The Sentinels have the numbers advantage. V1 painfully outnumbered here, and they don't have the spike. They're going to have to pull back. Dapper and really the rest of the Sentinels have full control of Garage here. Oh, Shazam cleans him up. Dapper takes care of Vanity as well. Sentinels get to map point. Oh, Dan, that one was scary, and it went absolutely sideways for V1.
Yeah, I did really like what they were doing, though, because they were trying to punish Sentinels if Sentinels were trying to punish what they have been kind of historically doing across a lot of these rounds, which is, they don't tend to leave players necessarily on some of these flanks. So that's quite abusable if you're Sentinels. But V1 just slowed everything down to try to catch a push, and Sentinels they just played it perfectly, man. Such a good response from them, and now it's going to be a huge commit towards this A lobby control. We'll see how this one goes. Shazam with the recon, and he's going to fall back. It looks like, it's going to be a great opening there for V1. Tens goes down.
Oh, that's big. That's big, and Penny gets the Blade Storm online too, so it's not just Tens, but Zoms and Shazam clean up a couple. Shazam looking for more, but no, we are Zelsis' chance coming across as Zelsis goes absolutely bonkers for V1. He's gonna get the spike down, but Sick is on the flank. He's got to run it back as well. You see Dapper applying pressure from up in heaven. Curveball coming out. Sick looking for more. Dapper quims out at just the right time. It's just one. It's Effie's. Woody, you have the clutch, and you cleans one up. But no, the hot cans cooks him. Sick's going to be able to get the defuse. Sentinels take a 2-map lead in this best of 5.
Oh, man, with the hot hands. The last ditch, all he had time for was to throw out the hot hands, and it's enough. Great stuff from Sick once again. And it's going to be such